Do we as humans, in our exploration of our sexuality, seek out to watch violence and get turned on by it? Because at a certain point, you're conditioned with it, and what you are exposed to gets entangled with your and then you actually need it to be erased. And that's a whole other thing. But what I'm saying is, from the beginning, let's say you're a young boy and you just discover that there's something called sex, and you Google it, and you realize that you're getting an erection, and you're like, wow, my body's alive, and I want to explore this. And you want to see something that is sexual. What is there for you to see on the internet that is even close to bringing beauty to another human?
Okay, guys, we got Sasha Cobra on today. We're going to talk about how sex has been used to disempower humanity. Deep topic, huh?
Yep. And a very necessary topic.
Yeah, and you're one of the few, I think, qualified to give a good take on this, given all the work you've done over the years. So, first of all, thanks for coming. Long flight for you, right?
Thank you very much. It's okay, but it's with a layover.
Yeah, no direct flights out there.
No.
But yeah, let's dive straight into it. So, how sex has been used to disempower humanity? Could you explain the history of that?
Yeah, so I think before we go into how sex has been weaponized to disempower humanity, we first have to understand what sexual energy is, what sex really is. And I want to start off by bringing us back to understanding that at some point, two people came together, had sex, and out of that, we were all born. So we as humans are a physical manifestation of sexual energy. So what is that? Exceptional power. It's exceptional creative force, and everything that is in existence comes through the sex act. So what our body's made out of is sex. What is running through us is sex. The spirit that we have, our destiny, our alignment, everything is about the sex that moves through us, because that is who we are. And in our society, it's all about disempowerment. It's a slave culture. It's a trauma-induced culture. Everything is operating on fear, to control, to divide, to disempower. And there's many different ways that we're all aware of that disempowerment happens through, right? So many different ways. And we can even think about the basics like food, right? Our food is controlled, our air is controlled, our water is controlled, our housing is controlled, electricity is controlled, everything is controlled, and even our sex is controlled.
Really?
And I think that a lot of people don't understand or don't think about sex as something really significant for our lives and what it really means. We think about something like an urge for reproduction, but we actually don't have an understanding of the spiritual power of it and the healing modality of it. So we as humans, we all know that we carry pain, we all carry trauma, and whether that is trauma from experiencing things that we all could collectively call trauma as we know it. That could be physical abuse, verbal abuse, sexual abuse, but also the trauma of living in a crazy society. You know?
What happened yesterday?
That as well. That's huge. And I want to get to that. That's really significant. But even going to just being born into a society that is backwards to nature and backwards to life, you know, being put in a school system that is unnatural to our spirit, you know, our expression of spirit, especially now where all of us understand that we're being lied to and what we're being taught in schools.
Yeah.
So just the trauma of this very unhealthy, unnatural society and culture. So with all of us carrying that, we need healing. And why? We, in our essence, are born as divine beings. We are pure. We are innocent. We are love embodied. We all know that. We know that children are a beautiful blessing. We look at children as the most precious thing in the world. And what we forget as adults is that at some point we were all children ourselves. And so we as humans are beautiful, we're gorgeous, we're love embodied, and then bringing back up, you know, something horrible that happened yesterday that is so present. You know, it's really wild because I come here to this podcast with you and I'm like, man, we're going to talk about sex, but how do you even start a conversation about it when something so important happens yesterday? And happens all the time. We're talking about one event, but things are happening all over the world all the time. It's just that this one really hits home for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And coming into this podcast, I was thinking, you know, I think a lot of people don't realize how much the work that I'm doing is also connected to what I'm seeing and witnessing from yesterday.
Mm.
So we witness an assassination. And what happened, how it happened, you know, call it a psyop. Is it a psyop? Is it not? Whatever's going on. I'm not concerned about that. What I'm concerned about is what humans do in our society with things that happen in society, right? There's an event, something happens. How do people react to it? And I'm in this mastermind group on WhatsApp with hundreds and hundreds of people.
Mm-hmm.
Intelligent people, wonderful people. This event goes off, hundreds of messages pour into it.
Mm.
You know the group.
Yeah.
Hundreds of messages go into it, and people start fighting one another. How is this possible? What do you think?
They politicized the death. They made it right versus left. And then people got emotional.
But then you go one layer deeper. How is it possible that we as humans can be so insensitive to life?
Mm.
So insensitive to the essence of what we ought to be about, which is love. There's no child on this planet that would rationalize and create logic and politicize pain.
Yeah.
And yet people's minds come in and they start wars over things that are completely unnatural to, in my opinion, our essence and our existence as humans. And so when I look at these things, what is the solution for that? What is the solution for the wars that we see globally? What is the solutions for the violence and the pain that we see on the planet? Because for me, it is not natural to the human experience.
Mm.
This is something that we're programmed with. It's something that we're conditioned with. And it's a byproduct of the pain that we carry from our deepest, deepest trauma. And that trauma is the trauma of not being loved as we should and not being able to love as we should in a society that is so backwards.
Wow. So you think it all stems down to that when you see all these problems?
Absolutely.
Wow.
And not only just that, if you look at conflicts in relationships, we can start, you know, closer to our intimate experience in life. You look at relationships, why are we so violent with one another? How could we say we love somebody and then yell at them? Where is that pain coming from? And at the end of the day, when you go layer by layer into everything that people complain about, give reason to, give logic to, at the end of the day, it's because they feel unloved.
Wow.
So then, if we look at all these problems in the world and we think, what is the solution then? To come back to a place of loving. And how do we do that? If we are the essence of love, if that is essential to our nature, if that is what we are when we come into existence, then that means that it's not a matter of finding that. It's a matter of cleaning out and getting rid of all the shit that we collect in a lifetime. All the memories, all the conditioning, all the trauma that we collect from life. You know, this is a really crazy world that we live in.
Super crazy.
It is just completely insane and backwards.
Yeah.
And so if the solution is love, it's not fighting, it's not conflict. And it saddens me so much, man. When I was reading these messages yesterday popping off, someone died. Someone's family right now is having to deal with grief and loss in a way that many of us have never had to experience. And we're making videos about it. Some people celebrating that. That is insanity.
Yeah, it's madness.
It's complete madness. But you know what I see? Even from those people, they're lost.
They have to be. No rational person would make
lost.
A dancing video to that.
They're lost, confused, and lacking love in themselves. Period.
Yeah.
So when I see that, what is that solution to bring them back to love? How do we do that? We all need healing. What are the different ways that we can heal? So what I'm saying is that sexual energy is an incredible healer. And I'm not talking about sex. You know, when we're doing this podcast and people are listening, there's going to be lots of people listening. They're going to think, this is crazy. Sex has never healed me. Sex has brought me pain. It's brought me problems.
Mm-hmm.
It's brought me imbalances of all different kinds. You know, most people relate to sex not from a place of beauty. It's either an urge, an addiction, or actually something painful.
Mm.
So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about lovemaking the way it was meant to be,
Mm-hmm.
which is really a physical act of loving, bringing our bodies together to love each other, not to use each other, not to abuse each other, not to take, not to gratify, but to love. And when you do that, energy is generated, because remember, your body is powerful life force.
Mm-hmm.
We can call it sexual energy. We can call it life force. When you bring two people together in lovemaking, you start to cultivate a lot of energy. And that energy becomes a healer. Your orgasmic states become a healer. And that particular energy will clear out trauma in your body, conditioning in your body, your negating beliefs. It brings you back through the body to you feeling love within you.
Mm.
It opens up your heart. It opens up your energy channels. It literally will change the world if people understood how to make love rightly. So when we look at all of that and we understand the power that lovemaking creates, if we understand the healing that sexual energy brings and our connections bring, then you got to understand that the powers that be that want to keep everybody disempowered could not possibly just allow for such a magical, incredible, powerful tool of transformation to be available.
Mm. Wow. Yeah, it's transformational, it sounds like.
It's absolutely transformational, and not just within yourself, but think about it. When you transform, what happens? The quality of your relationships change.
Mm.
People that are happy, people that are satisfied, people that are in love, they don't want war. They don't want violence. They don't want to cause others pain. They want to love others.
Mm.
So then we look at all of that, and those that are in power understand that the same way that they understand that food is our medicine, so they had to take care of the food.
Mm-hmm.
They understand that water is who we are as well. That is an essential part of us, so they control the water. They understand we need clean air to breathe, so they now take over the air.
Chemtrails.
They've taken over every single part of everything that we need essentially as humans to have a good quality of life. And love and sex is one of them. So then you look at, how did they do that?
Yeah.
We have religion. And religion tells you your desire is dirty. Your sex is bad. You need to repress yourself. Your desire to want to have sex, to connect, is something that is sinful and shameful. You're not supposed to do it until whatever the reason is. For many people, it's marriage, exactly. So what they create is repression.
Mm.
Now, what happens when you repress anything? It grows. It grows.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when you look at countries and cultures that have a lot of religious taboo around sexuality, they're usually countries that have a lot of violence, a lot of sexual abuse, a lot of rape.
Wow. I didn't know that, but that makes sense.
It makes sense. So then if you're going to repress something, there's going to be a polar opposite. What's the polar opposite?
Suppress.
Well, let's say suppressed and repressed. That's the same group. That's the same hanging out. What do you do on the other side? Perversion. Over-sexualization. Now you've got porn. Now you've got kink.
OnlyFans.
You've got, I mean, how many people go to church, repress themselves, feel shameful about their desire, and then they're closet masturbators watching pornography, and a lot of times it's not even your regular sex, it's kink stuff, it's violent stuff, it's perverted stuff, it's animal stuff. I mean, just think about that. I think that we really don't take the time out to look at life from an outside perspective, because we're so used to being humans in such an insane and backwards society that we somehow, some way think it's normal. We might not think it's normal, but we think like that's how life is. Yeah. And I'm saying, what do you think? Just imagine aliens come down and they're looking at us and how we operate and how we think and what we're satisfied with and what we're entertained with. I mean, that's another thing. How are we even entertained with things that we watch in most movies and most shows, where everything that we consume has violence overshadowing it?
Yeah, the frequency of the music.
The frequency of the music, the frequency of the movies. But again, who's controlling that?
Yeah.
Because if you hijack every part of what humans seek out, because we seek connection, we seek entertainment, we want to have joy, right? But I mean, there's days when I may be sitting around thinking, oh, it'd be so nice to watch a movie. And then I get to turning on, let's say, Netflix, and you start watching the trailers. I can't bear watching movies.
Yeah, it makes you feel terrible, right?
Because everything is so violent. It's so backwards to nature. People are always in conflict. There's always fights. There's not even romantic movies out there anymore that actually build up beauty. And if you think about it, it's like the chicken and the egg, because people will say like, oh, but that's just life. What you see in movies is just life. And I'm saying, is it really? Or are we consuming all of that and then regurgitating it and saying that that's life?
Right.
What came first? Because just imagine, what if there was a Netflix that every single movie showed beauty? Every single movie showed how to resolve conflict through harmony, how to do things lovingly, how to use superpowers, your intuition, how to be accessing states of yourself that are truly divine. What if that was the programming that we were receiving? What do you think the world would look like?
Be a lot better. You could say Gaia is kind of doing that, right?
Yeah, but Gaia is a lot of educational stuff, and they do put out some movies, but we're not talking about high quality productions, right. Movies, entertainment, stories, we're not talking about that. I was on the airplane, actually, on the way here. I watched a movie. I watched the new version of Snow White.
How was it?
Beautiful, and yet so much propaganda and programming.
I mean, it's Disney, right? Yeah.
I mean, the remake is beautiful, but when you look at the story in itself, it is filled with trauma. And, I look through the lens of trauma because I work with a lot of people. And a lot of people come to me for trauma of all different kinds. And even if you had a fairy tale childhood, your parents love you, everything's great, do you realize that they try to get you even through the movies? Because when you watch the movies in Snow White, I mean, it's funny, I come here to do a podcast about sex, and here we're talking about Snow White. But a little girl loses her mother. There's grief there. Her father gets killed. There's grief there. She gets an evil mother who kills her. Like, the whole movie is filtered through a lens of pain. But these movies are supposed to be for kids. So kids are being traumatized indirectly, even if they have a great childhood, just through watching and consumption of that.
Yeah.
Which is complete insanity.
Yeah, cartoons have changed over the years. I feel like, because I used to watch them growing up, they were way more innocent.
Yeah, but
in the 90s,
even
2000s.
I understand. I feel like everything's going up a notch. But, like, think about Tom and Jerry back in the day.
Cat and Mouse.
Everything has always had, everything that has been created and funded by those in power, because they do control the media. They control everything that is significant to our consumption as humans is controlled by a very small group of people.
Wow.
And if they are the ones in control, they are controlling the experience of your reality while you are living in this society, in this culture, in this world, basically. Because at this point, we don't, anywhere you go in the world, well, I was going to say anywhere you go in the world, it's not really true, but the air is toxic in most places. They're being sprayed
especially cities.
Especially cities. So in most places, of course, not everywhere, but in most places, and places where people are most concentrated, is where we're poisoned the most through all different means. So I want to go back to the conversation of how we consume these things and the porn, right? Why does porn look the way it does? Do we as humans, in our exploration of our sexuality, seek out to watch violence and get turned on by it?
Seek out?
No, we don't.
Well, these days it seems like people...
That's another topic, and I'll get to it, because at a certain point you're conditioned with it, and what you are exposed to gets entangled with your arousal, and then you actually need it to be aroused. And that's a whole other thing. But what I'm saying is, from the beginning, let's say you're a young boy and you just discover that there's something called sex, and you Google it, and you realize that you're getting an erection, and you're like, wow, my body's alive and I want to explore this. And you want to see something that is sexual. What is there for you to see on the internet that is even close to bringing beauty to another human?
Porn.
But what I'm saying is, in porn, is it showing you how to bring beauty to another human?
No. It's just physical.
It's just physical. And I mean, it's I'm so touched by having this conversation and have you answer it, because in a way you're answering so innocently.
Well, I'm picturing my first time watching it. It was literally in high school, and exactly what you just described happened. So,
but the reason why I'm saying it like that is because you're thinking of regular porn, but do you know how much other types of porn and categories and kinks there are
I
in
know
the
there's
world?
a lot. Yeah, I stopped watching
porn.
it, but I hear about it.
So what I'm saying is that there's a lot to consume, but even if we just stick to two people having sex in a porn video, they're not really loving each other.
No. Definitely not.
And when you go to nowadays where we look at free porn sites, did you ever see the documentary called Pornography?
Was that the one against Pornhub or no?
And YouPorn.
I think so.
Yes. It wasn't so much against it. It was like a journalist investigating into who owns the porn industry.
Yeah, that was Layla, right? Layla Micklewhite. She's coming on.
I don't remember the name.
I think it was her thing, but yeah.
And at this point, I mean, the documentary is quite outdated, but I found it to be fascinating at the time, because I had been speaking about the fact that humans are giving their life force energy while masturbating to porn. You're literally giving power, life force, while watching and participating in something. What is it, and who is providing for you that ritual? And what you learn in pornography, for example, is that it's a very small group of people that are controlling the whole narrative of what you're getting conditioned with your arousal. And here's the deep thing. If you start watching porn of a certain type, your body responds, right? Your body's going to respond because it responds to stimuli. It's seeing things. It's getting activated, right? And in that activation, if you have certain images that you don't want to see, because like I said, humans don't want to see violence unless they're already got some issues, but they don't want to see violence. They just want to see sex. But if that violence is infused, for example, if you're watching porn and what you're hearing is demeaning words being said, the conversation, even the titles to the porn, why are all the titles to the porn have a flavor of pedophilia?
Yeah, stepbrother or something.
Why? Why is it incest and pedophilia?
Yeah.
Who came up with the idea? And you got to remember who's controlling all of this, right? So who came up with the idea to infiltrate your arousal with incest and pedophilic ideas? So then you're watching adult women in schoolgirl outfits. You're watching women with completely shaven vaginas that look like vaginas of a 12-year-old girl versus a grown woman. And whether you like it or not, you even being an innocent 15-year-old that just wants to explore his body is being programmed with how your arousal is going to now, over time, be linked to certain images and ideas. And even, the topic of pedophilia for me is very, very close to my heart because I work, as I mentioned to you, I work with a lot of people that come to me for trauma, and a lot of that trauma is sexual abuse.
Wow.
And a lot of that sexual abuse is from childhood.
Shout out to today's sponsor, Quince. As the weather cools, I'm swapping in the pieces that actually gets the job done, that are warm, durable, and built to last. Quince delivers every time with wardrobe staples that'll carry you through the season. They have fall staples that you'll actually want to wear, like the 100% Mongolian cashmere for just $60. They also got classic fit denim and real leather and wool outerwear that looks sharp and holds up. By partnering directly with ethical factories and top artisans, Quince cuts out the middleman to deliver premium quality at half the cost of similar brands. They've really become a go-to across the board. You guys know how I love linen and how I've talked about it on previous episodes. I picked up some linen pants and they feel incredible. The quality is definitely noticeable compared to other brands. Layer up this fall with pieces that feel as good as they look. Go to quince.com/DSH for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. They're also available in Canada too.
So that it's something that's been very present for me, and the stories that I have heard, John, the stories I've heard, it's mind-boggling.
It's terrifying.
And how common it is, and also how common it is for men, because a lot of times when we think about sexual abuse, we just think it's more of a female thing, because most men never share about the abuse they experience. And even less if it's sexual abuse.
Yeah.
And so when we're looking at these images in pornography and masturbating to them and getting aroused by them, it's something simple. People may think like, wow, she's over-exaggerating, but understand that when you understand the functions of the body and you understand that we are biocomputers, and you understand that we are programmed subconsciously all the time through our consumption of what we consume. If your penis is responding to women wearing schoolgirl outfits and having shaven vaginas, and then all of a sudden you actually see a schoolgirl with a shaven vagina, your body's going to be programmed to respond. Your intelligent adult mind hopefully will say this is crazy and disconnect from the feeling, but something will happen. And I don't think that we as a society are aware of how much programming we are getting for pedophilia through movies. And the way that children are being sexualized in movies through different angles, through different conversations, through how they speak. And it's been going on for years. And so, again, we look at how sexuality and sex has been weaponized, because if you repress, you pervert. So now that repression and that shame and that taboo and the sin and all the dirtiness creates even more intensity for, I want to explore sexuality. And the way that you do it while hiding in your closet, metaphorically speaking or not, is by then being exposed to what they tell you it is. And with that, programming yourself all the time to have very unnatural ways and distorted ways of loving.
Right.
Of loving physically. And then you also have to understand that in order for us to utilize our sexual connections for healing, it's an energetic connection. We have to be in the body. We have to feel. The reason why women are known to struggle with being orgasmic or having orgasms is because women are very much energetically oriented when it comes to sex. They need to feel energy to have an orgasm. Men can get away with some rubbing and something will happen, but even then it's a tiny fraction of the capacity of pleasure that they can experience. But at least they have an experience.
Right.
But for women, they need that energetic connection. They came here to love. They came here to be loved. A woman has to experience her beauty from the inside out. This topic is so huge. Like, just look at women in this world to start. What are they obsessing over? What do you think women obsess over? What do you think takes over their mental space culturally?
Well, the feminism movement is big right now, so maybe equality.
I was not expecting that answer, but that's one of. It's definitely present.
What else?
Just look at the industry. What is one of the biggest industries on the planet?
Beauty.
Yes. Yes, on so many levels. Why are women obsessed with that when they are the embodiment of beauty?
I'm with you on that. I love all natural beauty. I hate makeup and all that.
Women are the embodiment of beauty, and they got tricked. And they got tricked because they were never taught to experience the sensuality and the beauty of the energy that moves through them. They don't enjoy their bodies. They're disconnected from their bodies. And by default, it makes them be disconnected from their power and from their love. Women ought to be love embodied. That is their thing.
Wow.
That is their powerhouse. This is their positive pole. This is their place of power. This should be the center ground for what woman represents. And why is it that we encounter manipulation from the feminine, pain, trickery, like culturally, when we look at what's going on? You know, when I watch social media clips on just scrolling on Instagram, a lot of the interviews, like the conversations that we're having as humans nowadays are complete insanity and backwards to anything that is bringing beauty to our world. And women are starving to be seen, to be admired, to be loved. And you know what the remedy is? Making love to her. Because in lovemaking, she gets to know herself that she cannot know herself otherwise. To be physically loved in a female body is to be filled up with love. Look at the mechanics. When a man puts his loving penis with energy, his love pouring out of him like a fountain inside of her, he fills her up with love. That energy moves up to her heart. It expands her. It opens her. It's a rarity nowadays, but if you ever get to see a woman that has been well loved, she is radiating.
She's glowing, right?
She is glowing.
You could tell, honestly.
And men too, but it's a different type of glow.
No, I could tell when I meet a woman that's got a good love life. You could tell pretty quick. Yes.
And for a man, to love is to be king. To love is to be king. Because a man really will not know his power until he gets to witness the beauty that is reflected through the woman from what he brings to her in lovemaking.
I love that. So I got a big male audience. You got to teach these guys. How can they infuse their penis with some love and some good energy?
Oof, I just got goosebumps. So let me start by saying this. I've been doing this work for 18 years, almost 19. The first 8 years that I did my work, I worked exclusively with men. So we're talking about thousands of men, thousands of male bodies, thousands of intimate conversations that they never had with anyone else about topics that they've never shared with anyone else. And all of them make themselves small inside.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that most men are scared of their power.
Wow.
They don't operate from a place of power. They operate from a place of, I want to be a good guy. I don't want to be historically what I've seen the patriarchy be. I don't want to be the #MeToo guy.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the rapey guy. I want to be a good guy. What does that mean?
They're holding back.
They're holding back, and where they hold back the most is in their genitals. Most men are completely disconnected from their genitals energetically. And, you know, a really simple exercise for the people watching or listening. If I tell you to feel your hand without moving it, you know, just now, feel your hand. Can you feel it well?
Yeah.
Can you feel your penis?
I would say yes.
But at the least, do you see how you hesitated?
I feel the hand more, yeah.
You feel the hand more. So most men will feel their hand, they'll feel their arm, they'll feel their foot. And when it comes to feeling their genitals energetically, they can't find it.
Wow.
There's no connection to that part of the body. And there's no connection to it. Why? Because if the man wants to be a good guy, he's scared of his desire. He's scared of his sex. And by default, when you as a man disconnect from your sex, you disconnect from your power. You disconnect from your confidence. You disconnect from the part of your body that you love and be loved through. I mean, think about it. You love from that part of the body.
Right.
When a man sees a woman that he loves, he goes, oh, I just love her so much. I just want to be inside of her. It's natural. It's beautiful. He wants to love her through that part of the body. How does he feel loved?
How does a man feel loved?
He always gravitates everything toward his positive pole, his genitals. I mean, think about it. I know it's kind of simplified what I'm sharing, but when a man has given a really good blowjob, he walks away going, I think I love her.
Facts. Yeah.
It's when he feels the most loved. And I'm not talking about, again, some pornographic, friction-oriented blowjob. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about devotion. I'm talking about adoration. I'm talking about admiration. I'm talking about love. I'm talking about a woman not just rubbing his penis to the point of ejaculation, but making love to him with her mouth. That's when he feels, wow, his heart opens up. He feels love. So we're talking about a part of his body that is there for loving and for being loved. If you disconnect from that, we're again talking about violence in the world.
Right. Yeah.
We're again talking about frustration. If people were all making love beautifully on this planet, there would be no wars. Period.
Wow. That's deep.
There would be no violence. There would be no conflict. Because we would be in love with our own selves. We would feel our beauty. We would feel our worth. We would have confidence. We would feel powerful. We wouldn't need to hurt. We wouldn't need to dominate. We wouldn't need to conquer.
You think there's been a time in history where it was like that in the past?
You know, it's hard to say for me, and I only say that because what do we know about history? Like 100 years ago?
A lot of it's BS, yeah. We're just finding out.
So we don't know what life was like really 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago. I mean, we don't even know what happened 100 years ago because there's a whole Tartarian empire that is not spoken of, but that existed.
I've had to unlearn so much history recently.
So it's hard for me to say. I would say this. I can't imagine that it never was like this. I can't imagine that because for me, it is how it should be. But I also understand that there have been forces on this planet that have created a lot of backwardsness. And how long that's been, I don't know.
Like you said, you've had thousands of people you've consulted with over the years. You've talked to some of the most traumatized people. Do you see a pattern with the trauma and the lovemaking?
Of course. Of course. And a big trauma. And let me double back before I get to that, because there's one more thing I want to add for the conversation with the men. to really understand how to make love to a woman as a man, you have to be connected to your penis.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we also speak about pornography, I'm not talking about some moral thing, it's bad or wrong, you should do this, you should not do that. I'm talking about what quality of man do you want to be? Who do you want to be for the people in your life? Who do you want to be for yourself? How do you want to walk in the world? Do you want to be powerful? Or do you want to be somebody who's small, disempowered, just trying to make ends meet, looking for validation?
Mm.
And so if you want to be a powerful man, and if you want to bring beauty to the woman in your life or women in your life, you've got to be connected to your genitals. So if you want to be a great lover, you've got to connect to your genitals energetically. And what does porn do? I'm not talking about morals. I'm not even talking about now what your consumption is. I'm not talking about what you're watching. I'm talking about the fact that when your awareness and your attention is on a screen, it's not in your body.
Mm.
So we're also talking about young generations now of young guys that have access to the internet in ways that I did not when I was growing up. And so they condition their bodies to get aroused through mental stimulation,
Mm-hmm.
not through feeling. And then they wonder, or at least I will say even I wondered at the beginning, because when I was doing this work, I had men come to me for erectile dysfunction when they were older.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say over 60.
Yeah.
Then it was over 50. Then it was over 40. Then it was over 30. And now you've got guys in their early 20s saying, I can't get an erection. Is that really a biological problem? No. It's a feeling problem.
It's mental, right?
Yes. I mean, we can call it mental, but I'm saying it's a disconnect from feeling, because if you're all the time programming, you're tricking your body to feel something through mental stimulation, and then you get in a room with a real woman, and now you got to feel.
Mm.
How do you do that if all you've been doing is training yourself to get aroused and have your body respond to mental images?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, when people watch porn, they're not, sitting back for an hour watching some long video. They're usually fast forwarding it to different images because the mind always needs novelty. How do you do that with a real human?
Can't.
You can't. So then how is your body going to have enough novelty mental stimulation for it to get aroused by, to respond to?
Mm. Yeah, all valid points.
So if a man wants to be a great lover, he's got to connect to his penis to have energy there.
So cut off porn, and what else should they do?
Give themselves sensual massage without the mental stimulation.
Sensual massage.
Yeah. So I'm calling it that because I don't want to call it masturbation, because masturbation, how most guys masturbate, is actually very violent on their body. They're jerking.
Yeah.
They're rubbing. They're being hard on it. They're not listening to their body. A lot of times, when I'm working with people, even in workshops, because we work on the genital area of the body. Everybody's got clothes on energetically. You can even do it with no touch.
Mm-hmm.
But when we do that, the things that come up for a lot of men is they start crying.
Wow.
And they start crying because of the abuse that they've endured in that part of the body. And I'm not talking about abuse from outside, sexual abuse. I'm talking about the abuse of masturbating too rough.
Some guys do it 4 times a day.
Having sex too rough. And it's not even I don't care how often somebody's doing it. How are you doing it?
Mm.
What is the quality of touch that you're bringing to your body?
Yeah.
And so if you want to cultivate power and strength, for one, you've got to stop losing your seed all the time. You've got to spilling it everywhere. We're talking about life force.
Mm-hmm.
But most importantly, you have to cultivate intense power in that part of the body, which means that you do engage with that part of the body. And I'm calling it sensual massage because I want people to understand that it's different from masturbation. But for people that masturbate sensually, I would say do what you do with masturbation, but get all the mental pictures out.
Right.
And not just porn, mental pictures in your mind too.
Really?
Of course, because it's about feeling. It's about sensation. See, we've over-sexualized everything. It is so strange to me that somebody could see boobs and get an erection.
That's strange to you?
Of course.
Really?
And I mean, think about it. If you go into places where there's tribes, you think that in tribes where they're naked all the time, they're running around with erections when women are just walking around topless? This is cultural. Think about that. In tribes where people are naked or almost naked, how do they get turned on? There's got to be something different.
You don't think they get turned on from seeing a naked girl?
But
But
if everybody's naked all the time,
yeah, they probably get used to it.
of course you get used to it. So then there has to be something else. And why do we get so turned on? I mean, think about it. Like, you won't get turned on if you see my elbow.
No, I won't.
No. But in some cultures where people are covered up all the time, a little bit of arm can create an erection in a man.
Right.
Right? So again, we're talking about conditioning. We're talking about cultural stuff. We're talking about, again, repression, perversion. Repression over sexualization.
Yeah, because now on Instagram you scroll as a naked girl with their butt and guys get turned on.
But isn't that a little bit weird?
Never thought of it that way. I just assumed men are naturally just attracted to beauty like that.
But is it beauty that we're looking at?
The body? Isn't the body beautiful?
But the body's exceptionally beautiful, but is what turns them on beautiful? Because, look, I'm not here to shame people on their decisions. But since when did plastic sex inside a body turn on a man?
Plastic sex.
I'm saying it like that.
Like a condom, you mean?
No, I'm talking about breast implants.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying it like that because if we're talking about the body being beautiful and the body's magical, it's miraculous. It's incredible. The aliveness that comes, the beauty of the breasts are exceptionally beautiful.
Yeah.
But at what point, because some men will do this, they will actually want their girl to get breast implants.
That's crazy to me.
It is crazy. And what I'm saying is that at what point did that become something where beauty is putting plastic sex in your body?
Yeah. No, that's a really good question. It's concerning that women feel like they have to do that to their bodies these days, honestly.
And now it's with their butts, right?
Oh, yeah, that's a
and
huge
it's always
Botox
something
too.
else. And then the lips. And then at what point did we stop celebrating beauty and life? Because now what we're focusing on is just parts.
Yeah, I think
over-sexualized parts.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm saying it like that because, look, for you to feel something in lovemaking, you got to feel energy.
100%.
How are you going to feel a fully alive body that has been chopped up, cut open, traumatized in so many different ways, completely disembodied? How is that a turn on? And I want to say this from the depth of my heart for the women that have done through this, because, look, we live in a sick culture. We receive so much, like, it literally brings tears to my eyes because I got nothing but love for these women. And my journey with these women is that no matter what they've done to their bodies, they've got to at some point start loving. They've got to start loving their bodies in whatever place they're at, however it is, and stop over-sexualizing themselves because they're hurting themselves immensely.
I think a lot of them feel pressure because of social media. They're constantly comparing themselves.
Then turn that shit off.
Easier said than done.
Is it?
I mean, you're off-grid in Mexico. Living in America in a major city, good luck with that.
But look, I'm not off-grid.
You're not?
No, I'm not off-grid. And I'm very much involved with people because I work with people.
Well, you know how to control your emotions, and you have good self-awareness. I don't think most people have those skills. I'm
human. We're all human. But at some point, we have to make really strong decisions. I'm not perfect now. I was never perfect. I've had a life of all kinds of experiences in my life. But at some point, you have to choose you.
I'm big on that accountability.
And I'm not saying that it's easy, but I'm saying that when things happen in our life that bring shock, even something like what happened yesterday, something has to move in you to say, which side of life am I going to be on? The one that uplifts or the one that reaffirms insanity? the one that continues to cause pain or the one that brings healing. You have to make that choice. Otherwise, you're going to keep feeding the monster when it's really not even your fault, because it was handed to you, it was programmed into you, and it's a virus that you're running in your biocomputer, and you got to understand that you do have the power to uninstall. It's not who you are. We are not bad people. We are not evil. We are divine, loving beings that picked up some bad software programs, and we have the capacity to unplug. And unplugging is not about, running away from life. Unplugging is saying, I choose me, and I choose love, and I choose truth, and I choose life.
Really well said. You have such a powerful message. I felt a really strong connection with us. Like, I can't believe it's been 50 minutes. This flew by. I could talk to you for hours.
That did fly by.
We're going to have to film a part 2.
Yeah.
Like, that just flew by.
Yeah.
I'm like really fascinated with
and
this.
That's not even touching the surface. There's so much to it, because the thing is, it's, yes, I'm a sex teacher, and yes, I'm a spiritual teacher, but it's not about sex. It's about life. And sex is a big part of it. It's such an essential part of who we are, but it impacts every aspect of our existence, of our life, and even events like yesterday.
Yeah. Well, you have your own events too, right? Where can people keep in touch with you and learn from you?
So I do in-person workshops. I actually have one in October and November. I don't know when this will be aired, but
we'll link it in the video.
Yeah, great. And I created recently. So as you know, I mentioned to you that I used to do a lot of private sessions.
Yeah.
A lot. I stopped offering private sessions to the general public, and I still continued to work with high-profile individuals. And in place of those private sessions, I created an online membership where we explore what most people don't in love, truth, and arrows. And it is, I highly, highly recommend it, because we do energy work. This is another topic. We didn't even touch on this.
Yeah.
Full body orgasms.
I wish I could experience that one day.
Without touch.
That's crazy.
And then imagine doing it online with people from all over the world.
No way.
All at the same time. Because you're not limited by time and space. And then on top of that, there's so, like the online community that I have, there's so many resources, there's so many tools. And I know the people are there because they love the work. But what I love are the people. Because when you are living in a city and you look at the world and you say, like, gosh, this world is fucked. And then you come into a community that is really, truly about love and truth. And it nourishes you and it feeds you, and people meet each other. And it's like, this is what life should be.
That's beautiful. We'll include that link to the community as well. Sasha, thanks for your time.
Yeah,
we're going to have to do this again, because I still have so many questions for you.
Yeah.
But thanks for coming.
Sean, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Check her out, guys. Check out the community. Check out her events. I'll see you next time. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps the show a lot with the algorithm. Thank you.